The 2024 presidential election promises a dramatic showdown. Two familiar figures, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, are vying for the nation's highest office. This election cycle presents a stark choice for American voters. Both candidates offer distinct visions for the country's future, diverging on crucial issues like the economy, healthcare, and social justice. As the nation grapples with economic uncertainty, social division, and a changing world order, the stakes couldn't be higher. Kamala Harris, the incumbent vice president, brings a unique perspective to the 2024 race. Her background as a prosecutor, California's attorney general, and then U.S. senator has shaped her pragmatic approach to policy. Harris has positioned herself as a champion for working families, promising to address income inequality and invest in affordable health care. She emphasizes racial justice and environmental protection as key priorities. Her supporters view her as a capable leader with a deep understanding of the challenges facing ordinary Americans. Harris's campaign seeks to unite a diverse coalition of voters, appealing to women, minorities, and young people. She emphasizes her commitment to inclusivity and her vision of a more equitable society. However, critics question her progressive credentials and her ability to connect with working-class voters. The 2024 election will test whether Harris can overcome these challenges and build a winning coalition. Donald Trump, the 45th president, seeks to reclaim the White House after his defeat in 2020. His unconventional presidency and populist message continue to resonate with a significant portion of the electorate. Trump's supporters admire his business acumen and his willingness to challenge the status quo. He remains a polarizing figure, however, facing criticism for his rhetoric and his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Trump's campaign centers around familiar themes: economic nationalism, immigration restriction, and a strong national defense. He promises to restore American jobs, reduce taxes, and rebuild the country's infrastructure. His supporters view him as a strong leader who can make America great again. Critics, however, argue that his policies benefit the wealthy at the expense of the working class, and that his rhetoric stokes division and undermines democratic norms. The candidate's economic policies offer a stark contrast. Harris advocates for a more interventionist approach, emphasizing government investment in education, infrastructure, and clean energy. She proposes raising taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals to fund social programs and reduce income inequality. Her economic plan prioritizes creating a more equitable society, arguing that a rising tide should lift all boats. Trump, in contrast, favors deregulation and tax cuts as the primary drivers of economic growth. He argues that reducing the regulatory burden on businesses will unleash economic activity and create jobs. Trump's economic philosophy centers on empowering the private sector and reducing the role of government in the economy. His supporters believe that his policies will lead to greater prosperity for all, while critics contend that they will exacerbate income inequality and primarily benefit the wealthy. Section 5, Healthcare in Focus: Expansion versus Market Forces. Healthcare remains a contentious issue in American politics. Harris supports expanding the Affordable Care Act, or ACA, and moving towards a universal healthcare system. She argues that healthcare is a right, not a privilege, and that all Americans deserve access to affordable, quality care. Her plan would provide subsidies to help individuals and families afford coverage and expand Medicaid eligibility. Trump, on the other hand, favors repealing and replacing the ACA with a market-based system. He argues that competition among private insurers will lower costs and improve quality. Trump's healthcare plan emphasizes individual choice and personal responsibility. His supporters believe that a market-driven approach will lead to a more efficient and affordable healthcare system, while critics argue that it will leave millions of Americans without coverage and disproportionately harm those with pre-existing conditions. Section 6, On the World Stage, Diplomacy versus America First. The candidates' foreign policy approaches diverge significantly. Harris advocates for a more traditional diplomacy-first approach, emphasizing multilateralism and engagement with international organizations. She believes in restoring America's global leadership role and working with allies to address shared challenges like climate change and nuclear proliferation. Harris's foreign policy prioritizes diplomacy and cooperation over military intervention. Trump, in contrast, champions an America First foreign policy that prioritizes American interests above all else. He is skeptical of multilateralism and international agreements, arguing that they often disadvantage the United States. Trump favors a more transactional approach to foreign policy, using American economic and military might to advance national interests. His supporters believe that his approach puts America first and makes the country safer, while critics argue that it undermines America's standing in the world and alienates allies. Section 7, Social Issues and Justice, Equality versus Law and Order. Social issues and justice are at the forefront of the 2024 election. Harris positions herself as a champion for social justice, advocating for racial equality, LGBTQ+ rights, and women's rights. She supports criminal justice reform, addressing systemic racism, and promoting economic opportunity for all. Her approach to social issues emphasizes empathy, understanding, and a commitment to equal rights for all Americans. Trump, on the other hand, takes a law and order approach to social issues, emphasizing traditional values and a strong national identity. He opposes abortion, supports gun rights, and opposes affirmative action. Trump's approach to social issues appeals to his base of supporters who value tradition, law and order, and a strong national identity. Critics argue that his policies are divisive, discriminatory, and out of touch with the values of a changing America. Section 8, Leadership Styles, Collaborative versus Authoritarian. The candidates' leadership styles present a stark contrast. Harris emphasizes collaboration, seeking input from diverse voices and building consensus. She believes in working across the aisle to find common ground and solve problems. Her leadership style is characterized by pragmatism, a focus on results, and a commitment to inclusivity. Trump, in contrast, favors a more top-down authoritarian leadership style. He is known for his decisiveness, his willingness to challenge conventional wisdom, and his unwavering self-belief. Trump's leadership style is characterized by strength, independence, and a disdain for compromise. His supporters admire his decisiveness and his willingness to shake things up, while critics view him as impulsive, autocratic, and disrespectful of democratic norms. Section 9, Visions for America, Unity versus Nationalism. The 2024 election presents two contrasting visions for America's future. Harris envisions a more inclusive, equitable, and united America. She believes in the power of government to address social ills, promote opportunity, and create a more just society. Her vision for America emphasizes unity, diversity, and a commitment to the common good. Trump, in contrast, offers a vision of American greatness rooted in nationalism, economic strength, and a strong military. He believes in putting America first, reducing immigration, and restoring American manufacturing jobs. His vision for America emphasizes strength, independence, and a return to traditional values. The 2024 election will determine which vision resonates more strongly with the American people. Section 10. The choice is yours. Values and priorities. As the 2024 election approaches, American voters face a critical choice. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump offer starkly different visions for the country's future, diverging on key issues like the economy, healthcare, and social justice. Their leadership styles and approaches to governing also differ significantly. Ultimately, the decision of who to support rests with the American people. Voters must carefully consider each candidate's positions on the issues, their leadership qualities, and their vision for America's future. They must weigh their own values and priorities when making this important decision. The 2024 election will have far-reaching consequences for the country, shaping its direction for years to come. Section 11, A Nation Divided, A Decision Looms. The 2024 presidential election takes place against a backdrop of deep political and social divisions. The country is grappling with economic uncertainty, racial tensions, and a global pandemic. The outcome of this election will have profound implications for the future of American democracy and the direction of the nation. As the campaign unfolds, it is crucial for voters to engage in respectful dialogue, Seek out reliable information and participate in the democratic process. The future of America hangs in the balance.